Westchester County has it all, including plenty of dining choices. Restaurant Week is coming, and we've got all the action from the kickoff at Chatterbox 54. Right here, right now on Westchester Talk Radio.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are live at the Chatterbox 54 restaurant in Briarcliff Manor, New York. We're broadcasting live today. You're listening to Westchester Talk Radio, powered by Shark Media and made possible by Entergy, Indian Point Energy Center. New York is stronger with Indian Point on. I'm here with Matt Cahan. We're also brought to you today by the Westchester County Tourism and Film Bureau. Meet me in Westchester. And my next guest is someone I know well. Not only is he a great chef, very well known here in Westchester, but the way I met this man is that he donates his time to help many of the philanthropic causes here in Westchester County. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Peter Kelly. Good morning, sir.
Bob, it's so nice to be here with you today to celebrate the kickoff of Hudson Valley Restaurant Week.
Well, I'm amazed. 200 restaurants. They're all on the website. We'll talk about that in a little while. But I'd like people to get to know you a little bit. You're very well known here in Westchester. You own a series of restaurants that all have letters and numbers starting with X's. Tell us, X2O, tell us about that, or your restaurant.
So my restaurant, X2O, Xaviars on the Hudson in Yonkers, New York. It's a beautiful spot suspended over the Hudson River. And it's a great reason to come visit Yonkers again. Good. Because, you know, Yonkers is the city of gracious living.
Well, yes, it is the city of gracious living. Now, you have a couple of other restaurants.
So I also have Restaurant X and Bully Boy Bar in Congers, New York, in Rockland County. And just recently, I sold the building in Piermont. So we've closed our Xaviars and Freelance Cafe. However, visit us at Restaurant X and X2O. And we'll be able to accommodate all those specials that you loved when you visited the other restaurants.
Okay, now let me ask you a question. For those of us who may want to propose to someone or do something very seriously romantic, which one of your restaurants would you recommend?
Well, truly, I would suggest you propose at any one of my restaurants.
Okay.
Because they are special. There's something. What I like to think of my restaurants as, they're about hospitality. They're about making you feel comfortable when you sit down. I mean, obviously the food's got to be good. It's a restaurant. But it's really about the service and the ambiance and the way people leave the restaurant feeling.
We're with Master Chef Peter Kelly. I almost forgot to ask you this. And it's something that I've thought about for years. Obviously, as a restaurateur, you care about the food, you're chef, but you also have to be a businessman. Let's start first with being a chef. How do you know? Are you a little boy? Are you watching your parents cook? When did you know you wanted to be a chef? That's number one. And number two, when did you know you were good at it?
Well, I was drawn, I'm from a very large family. I'm the 10th of 12 children.
10th of 12?
Yeah. So
didn't your parents sleep?
Not enough, apparently. But, so growing up as a kid, food was always a very important part of what we did. And I feel very fortunate that I was drawn to the restaurant industry very early. At 14, I started working in a kitchen of a little German restaurant and loved it. But anyway, as, I went through school and college and worked in restaurants and had an opportunity at a very young age in 1983 to open my first restaurant. And so when I did that, I had no experience really working in the kitchen. It was always in the front of the house. But if you want to run a restaurant and you want to control the heartbeat of the restaurant is the kitchen. And so I took it upon myself to learn how to cook, and I worked at it. And we started with a small menu and expanded from there. And it's all about. I had seen beautiful food done. And so I knew when it was wrong. And I think that is what helped me. I knew if I didn't have it right, I had to keep working on it. And so that's what we did.
Well, you're being a little bit modest, because to become as well known, as successful as you are, there's always a difference maker. Why? How did you get good at it? When did you say, hey, I'm good at this?
Well, I've never personally said I'm good at this.
To yourself?
I do feel confident that we deliver a good product. I think when other people, when the New York Times came in and said, we're an extraordinary restaurant, That put a seal of approval on us. I think when Sagat gave us a 29 out of 30, I said, well, there's people that like us out there. But what getting those reviews means is that now you have to work harder, because now there's an expectation. Nobody comes to the restaurant and says, well, I hope I get a good meal. They have an expectation and a right to expect a good meal.
Well, they do. We're talking with Peter Kelly, the master chef here in Westchester County, and his series of restaurants. The businessman part, the business part. We all read about how most new restaurants fail, or at least that's the myth, or not. We also read about how difficult it is to turn a profit. What separates a successful restaurant from one that can't cut it?
I think it's developing a team that you can work with. I mean, obviously, I cannot do everything myself. Paul Bocuse once said, he was asked, who cooks in the restaurant when you're not there? And his answer was that the same people that cook in it when I am there. It's about the team.
Now, you're always there.
Well, I try to always be there. That was one of the reasons that I'm trying to downscale a little bit so that I can be in the restaurants. I mean, I don't know how these other celebrity chefs manage 10 properties or 20 properties. I mean, my restaurants are sort of tied to me, and people that come there expect to see me there, and I like to be there.
What are your hours?
My hours?
I know they're crazy, but I want people to hear it.
I'm up early in the morning. I'm out of my house by 8 a.m. I'm up. My wife and I have coffee in the morning from 6:30 to 7:30,
That's nice.
and I'm out, and I go from one restaurant to the other, and I get home late. I'm home at 12 o'clock at night.
Well, is it a 7-day-a-week job?
It is 7 days.
It is.
I mean, there are times we sneak out here, steal a day off, but I think that the hospitality industry is about working when other people are off.
You have to like it, huh? You have to love it, I should think.
Like it. You have to love it. And I love it. I mean, there's no industry that gives the sort of immediate gratification that the hospitality industry does. I mean, I know immediately if somebody is happy or not. They have their dinner and they're smiling, and that means we did a good job.
Well, let me give you another opportunity to tell people about your restaurants and where they are. You've been so gracious with your time.
Well, I am always appreciative of guests that choose us to dine. There are a multitude of options that guests in the Westchester and Rockland area have to choose to go out and spend their money. And I am very appreciative of anyone who chooses to dine at X2O or Restaurant X with me, and we take that very serious.
Well, I'd like you to give the locations one more time, or the website where they can get at your restaurants.
So you visit us. My website is Xaviars. That's XAVIARS.com.
Well, I want to thank you also. I mentioned it in the beginning of this interview, but those other times in my career that I've met you, you were doing something for other people. You like to help these organizations, don't you?
It's nice to give back. My mother always said to us, when we complained about a shortage of something in the house, I cried I had no shoes till I met the man who had no feet. It's very important for businesses to recognize that they have an obligation to work with the communities that allow them to succeed.
Peter Kelly, thank you very much, and it is you're a good man, Charlie Brown. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So great to be with you. Thank you.
Good to see you again.